All right, welcome to the Crash and AJ blog here on a Monday, the 14th of October, 2019, where we have Star Goddess.
Yay!
Yay! It's my favorite thing to do. I love being able to elaborate on this because, we only get 2 minutes during the, the 7:10 break, and it takes a little longer. And people want to know, okay, not just where the energy is, but where can I expect that energy to manifest in my own life?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's always all about us.
And the other signs they can interact with.
Yeah, exactly. So we have Venus, the planet of love, on the move, going from the sign of Libra into the sign of Scorpio. And this is sort of a harbinger of things to come because the sun will enter Scorpio in about 2 weeks or so. So if you know what the best you can bring about is, Venus never brings bad news. No matter where Venus is in your chart, it's called the lesser benefic for that reason. So by telling you where Venus is now, you have an idea of what good things you can make happen when the sun enters Scorpio in about 2 weeks or so. So Venus in the sign of Scorpio for Libra, the sign that we're in right now, is more money. It's money falling out of the sky on you. It's good investments paying off. It's earning more money. It has to do with, and this is through the fruits of your own labor. This is not so much as like, buying a winning lottery ticket. It's more along the lines of, I put some hard work into something and now I expect it to pay off either tangibly with money or availing yourself of other people's resources. And it indicates more money at the end of your month instead of more month at the end of your money, which is always a good thing. And the cool thing about Libras and Libra runs from the 23rd of September to about the 22nd or so, or 23rd of October. You can usually spot them because they have dimples and they're really charming. But they're very secretive about their money to start out with. They don't think it's anybody's business. You ask a Libra, how much do you make? And they'll either lie to you or pull themselves off and tell you it's none of your business. You ask a Virgo, how much did you pay for that? She'll go, I got it, for this much at this place. And Libras will just kind of huffily go, oh, that's the rudest question you can ask. How crass asking about money. So they're secretive about it to start out with. So if they get a lot of money, you're not even going to know.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, for Scorpios, the next sign of the zodiac runs from the 23rd or so of October to the 22nd of November. And Scorpio is the fourth most populous sign because they're all conceived on Valentine's Day. They're little love babies, which is why I think in the zodiac Scorpio rules sex. Well, Venus, the planet of love, going into Scorpio, the sign of sex, says it's all about the Scorpios getting their carnal desires satiated. And it's a good time if you're a single Scorpio to start a new sexual relationship. If you're a married Scorpio, it's a good time to get some. For Scorpios everywhere, they are genuinely feeling the love in a tangible, real, hard form. This is not an esoteric kind of mental love. This is a, boot knocking kind of love. So
carnal. That's the key word there.
It's a good word with Scorpios. And where in the last month or so, whatever it is they were hiding about, that comes into the daylight. So it's the type of thing where they may have wanted to keep it a secret for a while, and now they're okay to share it with the world, kind of a deal.
So
which is a cool
on
thing.
Social media.
Yeah, that's when you become Facebook official, when it's like, I'm in a relationship kind of deal. For Sagittarians, he asks inquisitively, this is a good time to take a step back. Venus is behind your sign, and when Venus is in your 12th house or behind your sign, you don't really feel like socializing, you don't really feel like going out, you really feel like kind of staying in and attending to your wants and needs and not having to let anybody else make demands on you, which is funny, considering what we were talking about earlier. So it's a good time just to keep your own counsel for 30 days or so, not really make any kind of commitments, and not get backed into a corner to have to make some sort of a decision, because the Sagittarian's not going to like that very much at all.
Is it just me, or because I was just talking about this earlier, like having that time where I used to spend so much time talking and hyper-focusing and talking about what we're going to talk about on the radio and interacting with people. Having that time to yourself to go over thoughts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some people aren't, so it's hard for other people to understand that sometimes.
And particularly during this time of year for you, because of your rising sign being Sagittarius, it's a time when more importantly for you, you need more alone time.
Yes.
And it's hard to explain that to other people because they think, oh, you don't want to be with me. It's like, dude, I don't want to be with anybody.
Yeah.
It's not just you. And it's not, I don't want to be with anybody else. It's just, I want to be with me alone with my thoughts. For Sagittarians everywhere, it's just a good time to take a step back and kind of observe the stuff that's gone on in your life. And because it's every 14 months or so, you take a look at the love principle in your life and decide whether it's working for you or not. If it's working for you, you want to go ahead and keep it going. But if it's not, you want to take those 30 days to decide how exactly you're going to extricate yourself from that. And you need to be objective about it, about meeting your wants and your needs. So And Sagittarians in particular, because Jupiter has been in their sign, they have formed new partnerships, they've formed new interpersonal relationships, and now they're taking a look at it and go, yeah, well, how's it fit in my life? Yay or nay? And that answer hasn't really been decided yet. That's the whole purpose of this 30-day period, is to figure out what you want to keep and what you don't want to keep.
Well, it's kind of like a probationary period going on.
It really is, rather than making any kind of decision right now. It's a matter of, let me see how that fits in my life.
Okay.
And I don't really know what the answer is, because it's one of those things where it is yet to be revealed, that kind of a thing. For Capricorns, this energy is excellent energy for them. It's in their 11th house of hopes, wishes, goals, and objectives. And Capricorn has spent the last 30 days kind of feeling the love professionally at work. And they've gotten some accolades and some pats on the back and some attaboys. And the Capricorn is now going to look at it and go, okay, well, where does that take me to? How close does that take me to achieving a long-standing hope, wish, goal, or objective? And it's something that it's going to take the group working together to give the Capricorn what the Capricorn wants. So if the Capricorn is smart and manipulative, they will have the group work towards their ends, but make it appear to be a group goal or objective.
Manipulative,
Kind of
persuasive.
Yeah, charming other people into doing the job for you.
What's
kind
the,
of a deal.
the time period there? Capricorn?
For Capricorn, runs from the 22nd of December to the 19th or so of January.
Okay.
And these are very serious people. You can always spot them because they have resting bitch face. The corners of men and women alike, it's not just women. When you're a Capricorn, the corners of your mouth turn down. So when you're relaxed, you look like you're in a bad mood, like Richard Nixon. Was that kind of way. And did you know he had a good personality? I didn't. Apparently he told great jokes, but you could never tell because he scared us because he always looked, like this.
Very unapproachable looking.
Yeah, they really are. And it's a terrible rap because a lot of them have really good senses of humor. And then the rest are like Jack Benny, no sense of humor. So, but for them, it's going to make the group help the Capricorn get what it is the Capricorn said that they want. And they have to be really careful about that because that's the kind of thing where you criticize what somebody else is doing. And you think it's constructive criticism, they say, great, in December, that job's yours. So if you could do a better job, okay. So they have to be careful what they're getting the group to do, because it may end up being another job, an additional other duty for the Capricorn starting in December when Jupiter enters their sign. So again, Jameis Winston, our Capricorn quarterback, he needs his offensive line to hold long enough for him to get a throw off. I mean, I understand 5 interceptions, but 7 sacks aren't good either.
Yeah, exactly, right.
So they need that group to help the Capricorn get what they want. For Aquarians, this energy is in their 10th house of career and public standing. And for them, Aquarians are trying very, very hard to make professional gains and take professional steps forward. And they find out how well that's working or how well that's not working for them. It's almost like they get an evaluation. It's not a year-end evaluation. It's here's how you're doing right now. And I think there might be some constructive criticism in there on how you could do it a little bit better. And the Aquarian needs to be receptive to it, rather than say, no, I'm going to do it my way, because there's a lot of professional scrutiny going on with this energy, and it can have a very, very good outcome. They just have to be careful to be receptive to it rather than, no, I'm not going to change.
Is there a particular sign that's better at critiquing and giving somebody some constructive criticism? Like
I don't think any sign really does it well, but I do know the fixed signs are the ones of Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio, the ones least likely to be receptive to it.
Okay.
So you have to, in a sense, you have to make them think it's their idea, and you can't.
It's all in the approach with them.
Yes, with them on how you approach them. With Leos, for example, you got to say, "Oh, you're doing a great job, and it could be even better if you did this." You can't start out with "you're doing a bad job."
I mean, that's why everybody's doing that then.
Yeah.
I want everybody.
No, you're doing a really good job.
Doing a really good
What are
job.
you talking
Yeah.
about?
Nothing
I'm
wrong
on
with
you
that at
guys.
all.
You're kicking ass, man.
Yeah, you're doing fabulous. We love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for Pisces. This is great energy for Pisces. This is Venus in their 9th house of the legal matters, educational matters. School goes very well for them. Travel goes very well for them. They have been transformed over the last 30 days or so with some sort of accomplishment that made them feel really good about themselves and gave them a lot more confidence. And now they get to take that show on the road and see how it plays in Peoria, which is kind of a very cool thing for them, because they will find that the changes they made on the internal level are now going to manifest over the next 30 days in the external level, which is because all real change comes from within. You have to have some sort of change here for it to change in the outer world, and we try so hard to change the outer world, and it's like change in here, and then the outer world changes. So for them, school goes very well, educational opportunities abound, and for Pisces everywhere, the law is on your side. And man, when the law is on your side, you want to go ahead and use it. You want to use it to get what it is that you want. Pisces runs from the 20th of February to about the 19th or so of March. And these are very sensitive people. So for them to have this profound change that came in the internal world that gave them a lot more confidence will be a really cool thing to carry over to the external world. And not to be, brash about it or to be, oh, I'm somebody, pound your chest kind of thing. It's just going to be a quiet confidence that they have not had before, which is a very cool thing for them.
Knowing that they've worked it out in the
Yeah,
mind.
once you work it out in your head, then it's easy to go ahead and manifest it in the external world. But we try so hard to change the outer world when you don't realize that the real change comes in the inner world, because then it just manifests.
Now, question for you. I have a Pisces in my life.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I have a lot of
Do you?
Pisces
I bet
in my
you
life.
do.
My father being one of them, and he just learned this past week that his place of business is going to be closing. So now he's being forced back into the job market to find something else. And apparently he's got some offers and things coming through. But is there any way, does that sort of correlate?
Yeah, that does
help
correlate with that, because that's that profound change I was talking about.
Okay.
And you can tell your dad, for me, it's likely to be far away from where he is, far away from where he was.
Okay.
And I think that the opportunity is actually going to be a much better one for him.
Uh-huh.
And tell him also that Mercury is retrograding between October 31st and November 21st, so to take a couple of weeks off and recharge his batteries and not start a new job until Jupiter goes into Capricorn December 4th.
Okay.
So to give him that time span, to give him time to look around.
Okay.
And it's always easier to find a job when you already have one. I wouldn't tell anybody that my job was ending.
Right.
I would just say, I'm very desirable.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So, but I think it will work out a lot better for him, because I think there was a fear behind that he didn't know what was going to happen. And the worst thing about fear is that when you don't know what the outcome is going to be, it creates anxiety. So at least that's done. But he'll have a much better outcome than he thinks,
Okay.
which is good news for him. And then for Aries, this energy is in the 8th house of other people's resources flowing your way. Aries get the opportunity, and they run from the 20th or so of March to about the 19th or so, or 20th, depending on the year, of April. And for them, this is money falling out of the sky on them, which is good for you. It's an economic opportunity that doesn't require hard work. It's the type of thing where you benefit from other people's resources flowing your way.
Really?
Yeah, which is a really cool thing. And there's some sort of something new comes to light for the Aries and the Aries rising over the next 30 days that lets them heal from some sort of a wound that they had, a psyche wound that they had gotten earlier on in the year.
Okay.
So it's a cool time for money. It's a good time to avail yourself of other people are more than willing to help you out financially. That's the kind of thing where you have no trouble getting approved for a loan, kind of a deal. And also your fears are not as bad as you thought they were going to be, which is a really cool thing, I think, too.
That is awesome.
So that is good news. And for Tauruses, this energy, Venus is in their 7th house of partners and intimate one-to-one relationships. And so the last 30 days, they'd been focused on work and doing their job and just solidifying that. And now they're into, who am I going to play with? And do I want to play with you? And so the emphasis is on partners. On if you're a single Taurus, you'll attract a new partner. If you're married Taurus or an attached Taurus, that partnership runs very, very smoothly because they genuinely feel the love from their partners. And that's something they haven't really felt in a while. And they can also examine the last 14 months or so and see who makes the cut and who doesn't make the cut. And if they don't make the cut, let them go, because the nature of Venus in Scorpio says somebody new, because nature hates a vacuum. And even if you're in a relationship and it's bad, the universe goes, well, you're in a relationship. And you're like, well, it's crummy. It's like, yeah, I know, but your relationship squares fill. So it's sort of like, if you have a recliner and there's no man's butt in it, if you put a recliner in your house, surely it will suck some poor guy walking down the street into your house. That kind, because nature
Makes
hates
sense.
a vacuum.
Yeah.
So, but for Tauruses everywhere, the focus is on, also their professional image is very good too. Because the 7th house is what other people think of you, what other people see you as, and that should be very favorable too. So we get to keep our jobs, I hope. I think that's what that means. That's what that
I
means.
hope. I like the money aspect too, because I got to tell you, Janet, I was naked burning that money in
I know.
moonlight.
It needs to happen, and it can easily over the
Full
next 30
disclosure,
days
I
or
was
so.
in my underwear on the balcony.
Close enough.
It was dark.
That's right, close enough. That's right. And it really is just the abject reminder that without that being's benevolence, none of us would make it. None of us would. So I'm waiting for it too, by the way. So I figure you're a little bit ahead of me. So if it happens to you, I could be right behind you going, yes. For Geminis, and the millennial is going to be insufferable. Now it's in the 6th house of work, health, and responsibilities. And their job duties grow dramatically. They don't necessarily make more money. They don't get the corner office or anything like that, but they get to expand the range of jobs that they do. So it's sort of like you get more jobs, but you feel better about doing it. The fact that you get more jobs gives you a little more personal power.
Something you're personally interested in, invested in.
Yes. And so it's a good time for Geminis to start their own kind of jobs, their own kinds of businesses inside of the job that they're already doing. It's a good time, not for a promotion per se, but some obstacle that had been in the Gemini's way gets out of the Gemini's way, and they have a much clearer career path to go forward to. And it also is good news for health matters too, because Geminis, they're a mutable sign, and I think that they may have had some health challenges, and those also are not nearly as bad as the Geminis are afraid that they were.
There you go. And Ryan is our producer. Ryan is our resident Gemini.
And a millennial Gemini.
Yes.
I say we give him more work. That's what I say.
Oh, he's earning it. Believe
There you
me.
go. See, that's what I mean. Yeah, we gave him a grace period for a couple of months, but now it's like,
He's
dude.
young. He can take it.
Yeah.
It's on.
You
We're
can
done.
do it.
Well, he makes the mistake of saying, well, I can do that. It's like, excellent, go ahead. And this is what we want. For Cancers, this energy is in the 5th house of love affairs, children, sports, amusement, pleasure. It's a wonderfully engaging time to be a Cancer. The things that they tried to put into effect in January and then in June actually come to be as far as their love life goes, and their creative juices are really flowing. Cancer runs from the solstice on the 21st of June to about the 22nd or so of July. And for them, falling in love is important. Affairs with children go very well. Anything having to do with love and creativity, it's a very creative time for them where they can actually create something that, and you can create children. It's a very fertile time for Cancers if that's what you're interested in.
Another grandfather in this.
Yeah. And if you don't want that, you need to be proactive about it, because it's going to be hard to
It
stop.
doesn't matter whether I want it or not. So.
Surprise.
It could be happening.
A note on
so.
that, because it's funny you say that, because she actually went out to California to interview some bands, and she's just never done this before. So she went out to California to a music festival to interview some bands, and she kind of dropped this on me that she was doing this. I was like, well, okay, how can I? It's kind of what I do, and I can help you out.
I know a little bit about it.
Yeah, so she just got finished with it, and we're gonna see how it goes, because she got to ask some bands of questions, and I obviously gave her some questions.
Some good questions to ask.
Yeah, so she's entering this great creativity
Very creative.
area.
Yeah.
That I haven't seen out of her yet. So
Yeah.
it's really interesting to see what comes.
And it can be something that can, because when you talk about the creative area, the 5th house of children and love, it's not just tangible little teeny children. It's children of your mind, ideas that you give birth to,
So not
that
only-
then take on a life of their own.
Gotcha.
So that's what I mean about it's a wonderfully creative time. And it's the kind of thing where you do what you love and then the money will follow.
I gave her a camera, old Olympus camera and everything like that. So she took this thing with a tripod, and she's going out. I mean, this is totally blowing me away. This came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting you bring that up right now, because
It's good
exactly
to
what's
see that
happening.
they're responding to the energies.
Yeah.
And to me, the less you know about astrology, the more the energy affects you without really thinking about it. So I like hearing about that. For Leos, you ask, interesting times at home for Leos. This is a 30-day period where Leos really want to spend some time alone, trying to sort stuff out. When Venus is in the nadir of your chart, you really want to be able to nurture yourself, take care of yourself. You just don't have the energy to go ahead and accommodate a bunch of other people. And that's part of that. And it's only for 30 days. It's not like you're going to do it forever. And it's almost like
I
you
don't
go
have a
into your
problem with it.
lion's den and say, just go away and leave me alone.
Yeah.
I got stuff I got to think about. I can't be disturbed. And it's not, oh, I don't want you. It's just like, I really just want to deal with me for
Exactly.
30 days or so.
I'll
And
come
try
out
and
the den every once in a while.
but God knows, the one thing I know about Leos is they have their lion's den. You do not go in there when they're in there, because you will get your head bit off. You really need to just wait for them. They'll come out, because they don't like being alone per se, unless they choose that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. absolutely.
Okay. And what they're trying to do is solidify their home and foundations. Over the last 14 months, there have been a lot of changes in the Leo's home environment, and they just want to make sure that it is based on their wants and their needs, and to make it as safe and secure as they can. And then they'll come out to play when Venus gets into Sag, in a couple of weeks or so. So to
Organization
anybody.
for me is like, I want to get things organized.
Yeah.
Get your ducks
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
row.
Get your ducks in a row. Yeah.
yeah. And then be ready to play and party hard. and I'm all
Would-
for
I'd
that.
party
But the
harder if
people
I could do
around
that,
you
yeah.
have to realize that it's not about them, it's about the Leo.
Right.
And it's not just one person in particular, they're everybody. They're saying to everybody, like, just go away and leave me alone for a
It's
little
not you,
bit.
it's me. I want to get used to saying that.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not gonna last forever. And it's important to do that because if you have a solid base of operations to operate out of, everybody's happier all the way across the board. For Virgos, the pace of their day-to-day living is about to pick up to warp speed. They've got places to go, people to see, things to do, things to coordinate, a lot of stuff they have to really make sure they don't fall behind the power curve. And if they're single, they'll probably cut somebody out of the herd while they're out and about doing their day-to-day living kind of a thing, which is, I'm kind of looking forward to that, tell you the truth.
There you go. Get a girl.
But it's legal matters go well. There's an educational opportunity that will be available for Virgos. This is not like going back to college and getting a master's degree. This is like getting some sort of additional kind of certification that just makes you, the Virgo, a lot more desirable kind of a deal. And short distance, short duration travel will pop up, and they need to go. They need to go on it because they learned something very useful about their world while they're learning something useful to apply in their world. If that makes sense. So, and they should get out of any tickets. So that's kind of a good thing too.
I know.
I know. Here's hoping. So I'm pretty sure that's tomorrow's news today for the 12 signs of the zodiac, with Venus, the planet of love, going into the sign of Scorpio for the next 2-3 weeks or so. And it's a good harbinger, like I said, wherever Venus is over the next 2 weeks or so, that's where you can expect to be paying attention when the sun gets into Scorpio after the 23rd. So
If you not only take this information for your sign, but maybe your
people you know.
Yeah, you can listen to what we've got going on here and say, this is why this person's acting like this. This is something I can't have this conversation now. I can wait for this conversation later. Take advantage of their need
And
to
sometimes you just want to
team
play
up
for
with
other people and say, look, it's just where the stars are.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's
All
just the
right.
way it is.
Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Got another episode coming up next Monday and every Monday right here on the Crash and AJ blog at Star Goddess, 98rock.com.